Amnesia Rebirth is not a memorable game.
What was that?
This doesn't mean it isn't a good game, but compared to Amnesia the Dark Descent and Soma, there is not much in offer here. The game extracts too much from the Dark Descent and Soma in design. This means there are scenarios with similar features, like the doors opening with buttons, like they do in Soma, or the lights of the wall torches from the Archer world, which are common in the Dark Descent. There is a blatant reference to the Dark Descent at the beginning of the game, when the protagonist Tassie has an inner monologue very similar to Daniel's monologue.
No, come on. Need to find him. He must understand. Don't forget. It's her. It's all because of her. Focus! I am Tessie. I am still Tessie.
Of course, it's common for sequels to have attributes from the previous games, so it doesn't bother me much. Also, the level design, graphics, presentation and gameplay are all neatly done.
Where in the name of God? Look at this place. It can't be real.
The game can be very scary. It manages to keep you on high alert with audiovisual cues and darkness that blinds the eye from anything 5 meters in front of you, very much like Frictional started doing in the Dark Descent. That being said, I must state that in my personal opinion, Rebirth is not as good as the Dark Descent or Soma. The Dark Descent was much scarier. I say it was because Dark Descent resurrected the horror genre in 2010, and today there are a lot of great horror games that improved over the Dark Descent's formula, which is a narrative experience in first person and very limited defensive resources, being stealth the main one. Among the mainstream examples, we have Outlast and Alien Isolation. Soma is the best game Frictional has developed. The Steam reviews corroborate my opinion. It felt like a real successor for the Dark Descent, a real improvement on all aspects, and a refreshing theme, far from the 19th century aesthetics and into science fiction speculations of the end of mankind. The writing is beautiful and inspiring. Rebirth fails to improve in both innovation and writing aspects. Technically, it's a good game. It looks great and it is scary most of the time, but the story is uninspiring and the protagonist Tassie has some issues. The main plot of the game exists because of the decisions she made before the game starts, and these decisions are highly questionable. Personally, her decisions and morals alone made me dislike her. The game has multiple endings, and none of them is satisfying. I guess the ending I like the most is when you let the villain win, because I liked the villain more than Tassie. Although who's the real villain is something I still can discuss in my head. Maybe Tassie is the real villain. I won't spoil anything, and I want you to try this game and you will understand what I mean. As I said, the game is scary, and technically it's well made. If you're a fan of Frictional games and played their titles since Overture, you won't be very happy with this entrance. It will be better if you lower your expectations from your impressions of Soma. If you like horror games and haven't played much from Frictional, you will find a very entertaining title here. The game has plenty of horror for you, but keep in mind it's not the best horror game of the last decade. If you like horror games with a story to tell, but don't like the stress of horror games, you could try this game when on sale. The game is quite cheap with discounts, and it has an adventure mode with no enemies or too many horror elements. This way you can have an opinion on the game without having to deal with the horror. With those advices, I end this personal review of Amnesia Rebirth. If you liked the video, make sure to follow me because I will be reviewing more adventure games.